I helped a completely new coach go from 0 to $176,000 a month in 5 short months, and here is what I did for them. If you're new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna walk you through the exact funnel, products, price points, everything that you need to know to realize how efficient your ecosystem can be and how lucrative it can be to hit your first 6-figure month. Okay, even if you're starting just from 0. Okay, this coach in particular I'm talking about only had 9,000 followers, did not have a blue check mark, did not have a massive brand. Ads, excelled that, but he started with 9,000 followers. He wasn't posting every single day. Okay, most of their business was organic. He was doing less than 10K a month. That's why I say 0, because anything less than 10K a month is basically 0. Okay, so I'm going to bring you down to the whiteboard and we're going to go through this. So they had a $997 offer. Okay, this offer was coaching, it was group, and then we would use that to ascend them into one-to-one, which was 20K. Okay, I know that's a very high price point, but it was actually a coach who were 2 partners together. Okay, so technically it wasn't one coach, it was a combo of 2 people who were partners in a business. Okay, just like one of my other clients, Mike and Bo, they do the coaching together. Okay, so I'm just giving it as one business. It was a $997 offer, coaching, and then we ascend them to a one-to-one for 20K, and that was 5 months, 4K a month. Okay, so how do we best break this down? If we're selling a $997, there's a couple avenues that we can run, and most people do this wrong. Okay, they try to go to a landing page, which is wrong. Okay, you do not go to a landing page for a $997. You either go 2 facets. You go IGDM funnel, or you do a webinar. Okay, and we did a combination of both. So for IGDMs, it's this thing where people always have this call to action on an Instagram DM ad, and they think that that's the most important thing that they need to be pushing is, I'm looking for X people who want to achieve X result, DM me this word. Here's what we did. We just took the most viral, okay, organic content. That's what we did. So the most organic viral content that did well. And this is, not viral, but at least 25,000 views. We took that and we turned that into an ad with a CTA. So it was DM me the word build. It was a real estate offer. Okay, we're getting about $4 a message right now, which is very good for an IGDM campaign. Then webinars, which we're getting about $8 a lead. So what we would do is this. The $997 offer was getting pushed, and the first month, to be honest, it was only doing about 30K a month. Okay, first month, it was not easy because here was the problem. It wasn't the price, it wasn't the webinar, it wasn't the show rates, it was the offer itself. And also the webinar they were new to, so they had to do it for a couple weeks to get better at it. And then we had to integrate a couple things I'm going to go over. So how did we make this $997 offer just a whole lot better? Well, here's what we did. We were like, all right, you know what? We're going to add 2 bonuses. We added a one-to-one call with them. So it was 2 versus 1 technically. And then we added an event ticket. Okay. And this is where things got really fun. They were like, oh, we're going to host events. Why? I was like, dude, if you get 20 people in person, 40% of them are going to buy something else. And I wanted them to buy the 20K ascension. So let's say you had 20 people, okay? And 8 of them bought. 8 times 20K is 160K cash. Or at the lowest, 32K in the first month. Okay? And that's where it was more efficient. So I was like, all right, you know what? We're running an event ticket. And what do we use that one-to-one call for? We use the one-to-one call not to bottleneck, but in the beginning, we want to hear their objections. So that one-to-one call allows us to do a couple things. Find objections, okay, to increase the product. If the product's better, then it's going to obviously sell better, okay? Making your product better is always something that people say to, during consulting, or it looks like making the product better is always going to increase retention and it's always going to increase referrals, and your ascension take rates are going to go up. Okay. So we do this for objections, and we also do this for ascension too. Okay. I've done this funnel myself where I've got 997 workshop tickets and I take the one-on-one call and then I am able to sell them into another type of intimate coaching or a done for you model. So this could be coaching or done for you. They also are trying to do right now an REF, which is a real estate fund, which is a lot of white, yellow tape, but they're trying to figure it out. Okay. So this 997 was a good offer to sell on a webinar. Now, if they were selling a higher ticket item, then it'd be a lot harder. Like, let's say it was a 6K, like in one of my previous YouTube videos. If they were selling a 6K, it would go to a call, and then it would go to an onboarding if they bought, and then that onboarding would then ascend them, and then the downsell would be an event ticket, where it's like, hey, you don't want to buy the higher ticket program, at least get an event ticket. Or this call to where they obviously are buying on comes with a fast action bonus, which is the event ticket itself. Okay, so that's another way you could look at it. But that's what we did. First month, did 30K. Okay. Then we realized, okay, we have these people coming to the webinar. Okay, you have two sides to a webinar. You have, and there's other sides to the DM funnel too, but I'm going to break this down where it's like there's webinar and there's IG. So there's webinar and there's DMs. Okay, there are two sides to this, by the way. We're going to break these down. Webinar are people who showed and people who did not show. For the DMs, there are people who did not answer and people who answered. These are your sales combos and then downsells. So they either buy the thing that you're selling or they get downsold. Here, if they don't respond, what can we do? We can retarget. Here, did not respond or did not show. If they showed up, they're going to buy the 997 or we can downsell them too. If they did not show, we can retarget and also we can set them. So I just want to give you an idea of like why lost leads are not always dead. It's just that you did not scoop them up correctly. So then what did we decide to do? And that is here. So what we did was we have the webinar. The webinar is going really, really well. Then I said, you know what? Let's also fill up the calendar other days during the week because this webinar was getting, book calls on Thursday and Friday. This needs to book people Monday to Wednesday. Monday to Wednesday, we need a VSL funnel to be able to funnel people in to make your setters make more money and also have more calendar efficiency. Okay, so all these things are just part of efficiency and optimizing the ad spend itself. Low ticket came into play, and we were like, you know what? Let's also drop a $27 product that can self-liquidate ad spend. Okay, we also call this a self-liquidating funnel or an SLF or a digital product, whatever you want to call it, okay? This $27 then had an upsell, which was a $97 one-to-one. If they bought this 27 and they bought the $97 upsell one, they would then get pitched the $997 and they would use what they bought in the funnel as a credit. So it'd be like $875, whatever it was, right? And that's how they would sell the $997 to the sales team on top of the VSL funnel. So now we had webinar working, we had VSL funnel working, we had a low ticket funnel working. All of this is getting buyers and book calls. And then we decided to build community. And that's when we added in school. So all the webinar signups, all the VSL funnel signups, all the book calls, okay, all the low ticket buyers all go into school. And now they have 4K plus people in there. They also do group Q&A in there. They also have setters in there. And what's happening during this whole scenario is the ads are still running. So now we have webinar ads. We have VSL ads. We have DM ads. all of these are working together. So let's say the DM ad, they're unqualified to buy a $9.97. Where do they go? $27. We can diagnose it and downsell. Let's say they go to the VSL and they're unqualified to buy the higher ticket program. They get downsell to the $9.97. And let's say they go to the webinar and they are unqualified and don't buy. At least they go to school, and then we can retarget them on ads to go to low ticket. Here's the biggest premise here is that these all end with an overall downsell, okay? We just want to juggle them across the board to where we can retarget them back and forth. If they go to the webinar and don't buy, we're just going to retarget them right to the low ticket. Okay, so that's where I want to add something else to this, which is there's webinar ads, VSL ads, DM ads, and low ticket. Okay, so that's a really important part here is that now we're not just one product. And this is where most businesses make a very, very big mistake. You are under the impression that it's one product to one niche. Here's the problem, is that you only solve one problem. And customers more than ever now have more than one problem, or they have one buying behavior. I want to be able to solve as many buying behaviors as possible because that builds customer ladder, it builds product ladder, and it has a longer journey, which means higher lifetime value. So then what we did was we have the webinar running weekly. Okay, that's weekly sales of a $9.97. We have ascension calls. Okay, those are coming from the weekly sales. We have low ticket now. Okay, retargeted from Webby. And then we have VSL funnel. Okay, that's retargeting low ticket buyers plus Webby signups. All of these components are working together because it's a good ecosystem. And then the fourth would be DM ads. The DM ads are now retargeting all webinar signups. The DM ads are now retargeting all the low ticket buyers. And the DM ads are now retargeting all the VSL visitors. Okay, because VSL is going straight to high ticket. And this is what allowed us to go from 0 to $176K a month on very small ad spend, by the way. We were spending about $1,000 a day. And if you're wondering what that breakdown looked like, it was like this. This was the webinar, was about $600 a day in spend. The VSL funnel was about $200 a day. And the DM ads were about $200 a day. And then the low ticket was about on the low ticket. So about $1,100 a day. And all these are working in conjunction with each other. Because the webinar, let's be real, the webinar is driving a lot of leads to join the email list. DM ads as well, you can use ManyChat to pull the email as well. There's also a software called OpenSend. OpenSend is able to, regardless of the funnel, let's say a visitor goes to a landing page and they don't opt in. Sad face. OpenSend can pull the name and the email if the IP matches the server. So now I'm attaching OpenSend to this, putting them into a browser BAM and putting them to a welcome sequence, and I'm able to basically route this in a whole entire pinwheel. So that's why we like to build multiple funnels and multiple products for our clients to give them a better chance of converting, because it's about ecosystem, not about one product, one niche. Okay, there's only so many few people who can do that until you start to see different buying behaviors, because the economy changes. Sometimes people have different buying decisions and buying behaviors. So hope you enjoyed this breakdown. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. And if you want to book a call with me and my team to see how we can run your paid traffic and help you scale to heights like this, click the link in the description, and I will see you on the inside.